Okay. I will put my camera and speaker off until 3:30.
Okay,
Okay, sounds
thanks.
good. See
Bye.
you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Check, check. Check, check. Hi, is this Sharif Sanbel? This is Evangel from the council chambers here in City of Richmond. I just want to
Yeah,
check your audio and video.
yeah, my audio. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And then I just recently checked the screen, so that's all. That works fine. You can see that.
Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay, that's anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Aristico, do we have any members of the public in the council chambers?
Yes, Wayne, we have one member of the public wanting to delegate on item 1. Did you hear me, Wayne?
Hello? Council chambers, can you hear me?
Oh, Wayne can't hear me. Evangel.
Okay, let me just fix it. Hi, Wayne. Can you hear us?
Yep. Hi, Evangel. Do we have any members of the public with us today?
Yes, we have one speaking on item number 1.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So is my microphone?
Must be time to go. Wayne's got his video on.
I was just following your lead.
I love your background. I really like what you've done with the place. Look at Cynthia. She could do a bit of a reno. Okay, I think it's 3:30. Are we good to go, Wayne?
Yes, I believe there is one member of the public in the council chambers, Joe, just for your information.
Okay.
To advocate on item number 1.
Item number 1? Okay. Okay, so we'll call to order the meeting of the Development Permit Panel. On the panel today, we've got Cecilia Asham, we've got John Irving, and myself, Joe Ursig. And we've got 2 items that we're going to hear applicant presentations on, staff comments, and also receive input from the public before the panel deliberates and makes a recommendation to council on the projects. And I think, yes, and if you do want to delegate, you actually need to delegate to the panel today, because if and when items move forward to council, they're not delegable. You can't speak directly to council. So with that, I think the first item of business is to adopt some minutes of a previous meeting held July 27. Are there any additions, deletions? No? Okay, we'll consider them adopted. So that brings us to the first development project. It's a development permit. The reference number is 21-942090, and the address is 7100 and 7120 Ash Street. The development permit is to allow for the construction of 17 townhouses, and there was an associated rezoning with this application, which was considered by council and given third reading. And there are a couple of variances with this application. One is to reduce the setback from Ash Street from 6 metres to 1.2 metres for some refuse storage buildings. And the second variance is to reduce the setback from Sills Avenue. I think it's an extension of Sills and Armstrong from 6 metres to 2.5 metres. So with that, is the applicant here?
Yes.
Mr. Law, you're going to present this?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, great. So if you can just start with your name and address for our records, and then any presentation that you want to make.
Right. Okay, my name is Eric Law from Eric Law Architect. I'm the project architect for this project. And I'm going to present the architectural design, brief architectural design first, and then our landscape architect will talk about the landscape design after the architectural presentation. So let me share my screen now. Let me see. Can you see the image?
I can see that, yes.
Okay, now let me start with the context first. Basically, the site is along Ash Street. As you can see here, it's a long rectangular shaped site. At the end, there is a connection to the Sills Avenue at the east side. So basically, what happened is that this is an existing site with 2 lots, but we are going to combine it into 1 lot. And the context is basically a single-family house or townhouse site. On the north, most of the townhouse basically are duplex or triplex on the north, and then on the west side are the single-family house. There's a 3-story townhouse on the northwest corner here, and the south and the east sides are basically it's all single-family house, a lot adjacent to this lot. So basically, the context is, as you can see, basically 2-story high to 3-story high on one corner, single-family house or townhouse context. So our design is based on this concept to continue the design to to respect the residential context, so that our proposal is basically to design those building blocks. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 townhouse blocks, which are duplex. They are all 2 stories, because it's basically it will be the similar, consistent to the 2-story or 1-story neighbor single-family house context. That's how we. The concept for this townhouse project is this Mahasing will be just single 2-story duplex or triplex form of building form. Because of the narrow frontage along Ash Street, we can have to provide access to vehicular access along the site, in the middle of the site, to allow for the access to each individual townhouse block. And on the south side, we are going to provide a right-of-way so that there will be a public sidewalk along the south property, which will be dedicated to be used for the public to walk across between Ash to the Seal Avenue at the back. And there will be also a small road dedication along this corner, so that the city can continue their future extension of the road and the sidewalk along that path. So, and this is how the overall site plan in design consistent to the context. And as you can see, we are asking for 2 variants on the front, which are the 2 one is recycling and the other is the garbage bin. Those are the 2, which is located within the front yard. That's why we asked for the variance. The reason for this, the location is that because of the long and narrow road and the narrow frontage along Ash, we put those on the front along Ash so that the garbage pickup and will be more efficient. They don't need to go into the internal drive out and come back up again, back up again onto Ash Street. This arrangement is similar to the next door neighbor on the North Townhouse project, which is consistent to the whole arrangement along here. And we put a landscape in front of the garbage and recycling room, as well as a signage, and then we make the trellis, open trellis on top of it, so that you create a more feature, architectural feature in front of the main entrance, so that it looks more interesting and welcoming to the people using along this townhouse project. So this is the image along Ash, and this is the image along the sidewalk, south property sidewalk, which from the Ash, you can walk along the sidewalk to the back. This is Ash Street. Yep. And this is the Ash Street frontage, which we are to have the 2 recycling and garbage small building here with signage, and the building and the back with varying the roof to be more consistent. Actually, this is only 2-story high, and also with variation of the roof pitch. It gives the residential characteristic to the townhouse project, and as well as to be more consistent to the neighbor building. And this is what we saw along the south sidewalk with varying pitch, 2-story high. The massing is breaking up into different smaller duplex form, so that it's more, it will avoid the bulkiness feeling of the townhouse. It will be more similar to a single family house look and appearance. And this is the physical model that you can see along Ash Street going along here with triplex, duplex. Those are the duplex form along the internal. And this is also another view from Ash going along the main road, internal drive aisle, and the townhouse, two-story townhouse at the back. And this is where we saw from the Seal Avenue at the back. Opposite is the Ash, internal drive aisle, two-story only, and breaking down into a small block with varying pitch and the hip roof and the gable roof, so that the architectural feature is more like single-family house and consistent to the form and massing to the neighbor. And this is the layout, the floor plan here. One of the setback that we are asking for the variance is here, because we are going to provide an 8.1 meter by 8.1 meter road dedication, and that's why technically the setback will measure from the new property line to the building. But in fact, as you can see, that this building is way far away from the original property line, and that's why we ask. It's more like technical stuff that we ask for the variance over this setback only. At the back, basically, we meet the setback requirement at the back. So this, the second variance is technically is a result of the road dedication that we have to set back from the new property line. And this is the second level. As you can see, this building, which is technically is way far away from the neighbor, although the technical setback is a small one. This is a roof, and now we are asking the landscape architect to talk about the landscape feature of this project.
Thank you, Eric. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Denitsa Dimitrova, PMG Landscape Architect. For this project, landscape design have been based on work with arborists for this project and with architects to retain existing on-site trees at north property line and existing off-site trees at south property line, south side of 2-meter wide pathway. We retain existing grades in tree protection zone for those trees, and all construction work is to be under arborist supervision and above the existing grade. Street frontage along Ash Street has been improved with low aluminum transparent fence. Privacy from neighboring property along north and east side have been created with 6 feet wood solid fence, and privacy from along south property line along that pathway has been created with 4 feet wood fence. It's as per city latest comment. Play area have been provided in amenity space in the middle of the sites between building B and C. We are proposing a play equipment there, which provide different play opportunities as climbing, sliding, balancing, social as well, and multiple numbers of kids can use it at the same time. Two benches have been provided for caregivers near to mail kiosk, and 1 bike rack have been proposed at southeast entrance to the site for 2 bikes. No, for how many bikes? For more bikes. And permeable pavers have been proposed for driveways and visitor parking spots. This is an overview for the proposed landscape for this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just ask a question on I think it's the Sills Armstrong side, the southeast side. What are you going to see as a streetscape there? Is that an existing tree or?
We're proposing evergreen trees just beside the garbage structure, just for more privacy. And in both corners, we're proposing red sunset maple. Yeah.
Okay, and that's a pedestrian only access at the east end, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see if other members of the panel have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question. I was looking at your plan A2C, showing the air source heat pumps, and it seems like they're all located in on the north side and south side of the two building sets in the yards of the individual units. So it seems that wouldn't be optimal in terms of noise for both those residents and the facing properties to the north and south. Could these not be located on the roof or to the side of the units?
For the heat pump system, let me pull up the file here. I think there's one here. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, the heat pump location will be inside the individual yard. So down the road, we will have the selection of the heat pump system, and then we will have the acoustic consultant to advise us on the acoustical noise of all those heat pump equipment, so that you make sure that the noise won't affect the neighbor and within the city noise bylaw requirement on this one. So the location of the heat pump is basically will be located inside the lot, so that it will be easier for them to do their own maintenance, and also it will be easier for the construction to hook it up along within their unit.
Thanks, I appreciate that, but I think that, you know, for me personally, if I was in one of those units, even a well-maintained unit that close, I mean, the yard spaces are small. Mm-hmm. And even the heat pumps that I've seen, even the quietest ones, would perform within the noise bylaw, but would still be quite a disturbance for anybody sitting there. And certainly having a row of them along the pathway to the south or facing the neighbors to the north, I'm not sure that's the best solution. Appreciate that. Yes, that might be optimal for access for maintenance, but again, if I was in one of those units, I would want to see them out of that yard at least, or certainly if I was in a neighbor's or using that pathway, a row of them. And once they get beyond optimal performance, the noise is going to go up. So I would imagine there could be a better solution there.
Okay, maybe we can come back to that, John.
Sure.
And my question is on lighting. I didn't hear a lot about the night lighting for the units from both a septet perspective and also from a neighboring light pollution perspective. Maybe somebody can give me an overview.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull up the architectural. Yeah. On the architectural building face, we have allowed for exterior downlight, which is shown on this on this one. Will be all downlight only. There won't be any light spilling over to the neighbor. As you can see, in terms of the security, if you look at our architectural basically every unit in front of every unit, we allow for the light on the face of the building, on each entrance, as well as on the side of the building. So that basically those lights are basically is all downlight wall mount wall mount downlight, which shine the light onto the ground level only, but still it provide a kind of a lighting enough for people to have a security sense of security along all the building around in the common space, along the driveway, along the space between building as well as the backyard. On their own backyard, there will be all exterior light, downlight. In terms of the landscape light, I believe the landscape also shown.
Yeah, we're providing a boiler lights along the along pathway at south property line, and the entrance from from the side.
So those are the boiler light along the pathway, the public pathway, and some of
that's public walkway, right? Is that Wayne, is that a city property or just an access exit?
It'll be in a statutory right of way.
But the specifications will be to the city's satisfaction, presumably.
Yes, the public pathway will be designed as part of the servicing agreement. The servicing agreement will include pedestrian scale lighting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, if there are no more questions, I think we'll turn it over to Wade to provide staff comments on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple comments for the panel. As indicated a moment ago, there is a servicing agreement associated with this project prior to building permit issuance. The servicing agreement will deal with the site services, the road improvements to Sills and Ash, as well as the construction of the pedestrian walkway along the south end and the lighting associated with that walkway. There are the two variants associated with the project. Both of those variances were identified at the rezoning stage and are consistent with council's consideration of the rezoning. The project will achieve step code 3 with the inclusion of the air source heat pumps for heating and cooling. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Wayne? Looks like you get off scot-free. Now, we had an individual in the chamber. I think I may have got a message to say that individual is no longer there. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. He has already left, and he advised us that he's already satisfied with the presentation, and he no longer wishes to speak.
Okay, so do we have any members of the public in the chamber that wish to speak? No?
No, none, Mr. Chair.
None? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a staff recommendation, which is positive.
Just to interrupt, Mr. Chair, we do have one piece of public correspondence that was received by the clerk's department. So if I may, we have received a letter from Ava Chung. Unfortunately, no address provided. Ava has listed concerns about the land use, which are outside the purview of the panel, and some concerns over construction-related disturbances. In response to the construction-related disturbances, this project will be required to provide a construction, parking, and management plan as a condition of the building permit to ensure that there is no or limited interruptions to the neighborhood traffic pattern. All construction measures must be in accordance with the city's noise bylaw and construction hours dictated therein.
Okay, good. So that's all pretty standard stuff. And the land use issue is beyond our scope anyway. I'm happy to, if there's someone to move the staff recommendation.
Move the recommendation.
So Cecilia, presumably second, John. Now, John, you had some concerns about the heat pumps. I think on the one hand, it's great that you're using heat pumps, but I too have a concern that, you got a lot of them and we've got a public walkway. I think there's potential for noise along that walkway. There's potential for noise to your neighbour, the neighbours to the north. So my suggestion would be that we provide some direction to staff to review the location of those units with you before moving on to council. The panel's preference, you'll have to do your analysis, but the panel's preference would be, I think, to move them either somewhere between the buildings, or if that isn't possible, to perhaps a rooftop location or something like that. But it's really up to you. So can you live with that, John? You're muted.
Yeah, I think if we just provide that staff direction, that would be great.
So we'll leave it to you, and if you end up in an impasse or something, just bring it back to the panel. So, you know, with that direction, moved and second, and I'm going to call the question. All those in favour? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Thanks for your project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
And there we go. We just got some folks signing off. So Wayne, the next one is a development permit and a heritage alteration permit. It's a fairly minor thing. Do we have an applicant and a presentation?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do have the applicant. They are prepared to make a brief presentation to the panel.
So my understanding is it is a reclad of the existing building. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you
So
hear
maybe
me?
we can hear someone, yeah. Would you like to make the presentation?
Sure. Yeah.
I
I'll
can
introduce
hear
myself.
you, I can't see you.
Can you see the shared screen?
Yes.
That I can. Can you just tell us your name and address for the record, and then any comments that you have?
Yeah. Do you want to see me? You can see me. That helps.
There you are.
Okay.
It always helps to put a face to it, yeah.
Okay, no worries. So my name is Sharif Sembel. I'm the architect. My address, Unit 125, 1085 East Kent Avenue in Vancouver.
Okay.
I'm working with Value Property Group, the owner of this property. Give you a little bit of background. The building was built in 1975, or was given a building permit. It was permitted in 1975 and appeared on an aerial in 1979. So it was built somewhere in the late 70s there, prior to 1979. New owner purchased the building recently and did a physical assessment and determined that the existing cedar siding had deteriorated and was rotting in many parts of the building facade. And recommended, it was determined that the best course of action would be to replace all the wood siding on the building with more durable hardy plank siding. The intent is to match the existing exactly. So the paint color matches the existing paint color, and the size of the panels is the 1x6 cedar actually has the exposed part of the wood is a little bit less than 1x6, but it's very minor variation. So let me just jump here. This sort of gives you an idea of the existing photograph of the existing. You can, even in this small photograph, you can see some of the deterioration here, especially on the east facade. So as part of their due diligence, the planning department or the heritage reviewer, Ms. Minhee Park, determined that the Coast Capital signage did not have the appropriate heritage permit, but the true conditioning did. So both would be removed during the installation of the new hardy plank, but true conditioning would go back, but Coast Capital would need to get a separate heritage permit for that signage. Okay. And the only other thing that the planning department recommended was improved on-site pedestrian circulation to connect the building to the street sidewalk. So this is an existing portion of pedestrian access, and we're just going to paint a pathway to the main entrance of the building.
Just make it a bit clearer. Okay.
Yeah, right here. I think that's it. It's pretty straightforward, but we're happy to address any questions.
Okay, let's see if we have any questions from the panel. It sounds pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Not really, pretty straightforward.
Okay, Wayne, any comments?
Through the chair, just one comment. As this project is located in the Steveston Heritage Village Conservation Area, it was reviewed by the Richmond Heritage Commission, who did endorse the project.
Okay, good. And do we have anything written from the public or any members of the public in the chamber?
Nothing, Mr. Chair, and there's no one here from the member of the public.
Okay, great. So I think we're free to consider the staff recommendation if there's someone to move it.
So moved.
And seconded. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favour? Opposed? It's carried. And I just lost my agenda, so I don't think we had any other business, did we, Wayne?
Next meeting?
No new business, Mr. Chair. There is a meeting currently scheduled for September 28th. That meeting can be cancelled as there are no agenda items.
Okay, and you need a resolution, right? So I move and second to cancel.
Move.
Seconded.
All those in favour? It's cancelled. And I think with that, we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
You guys.
Cheers.
Thank you.